Welcome back to another episode of A Record of My Father. Today we have some exciting news. We might have a joint partnership with Gaviscon. But on the
Ooh.
topic of Gaviscon, we're talking about health today, aren't we? So how do
Yeah, I
you
think we're health, exercise. What was the other one? And
health
not just body
exercise?
health. I want to talk about like for me in particular, it's mind health, and probably a lot more. I don't know if it's more when you're older. I mean, do you feel like you get psycho sometimes if you don't get like? I think that if you don't eat right, if you do too much drugs and get hammered all the time, uh, you feel shitty. Then you go into a mind spend. So it's sort of like a one thing makes the other thing work properly.
I
And I
completely
think
agree with that. I think
I think
exercise is
most
a big
people
part of it.
know that, but I think it's very, very difficult to get away from uh, whether it be addiction or just public drunkenness. It's just so much fun.
It
And
is
and
it
it's
is too much
acceptable
fun.
it's acceptable by society, so it's really, really good. But when you're 65 and you're vomiting in the gutter outside of the bar, you've crossed the line, sir. You have crossed the line. We think you have. You should step back and go, not that I did that.
But if it's outside of the bar, does it really matter? That's the thing. It only matters if it's inside the bar,
I
right?
think I think anytime you consume something to the point where you have to boot, I think you cross the line. I
That's
think
quite a bit. Yeah, it's quite a bit
if
of
you eat
consumption.
pizza till you got to vomit, you got a problem. Okay.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one.
You know,
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. So how do
yeah,
you
I would
maintain
think
your health? You take vitamins, don't you? Big vitamin guy?
I take it daily. I take vitamin D. That's the only one because I was low in something or other, and the doctor prescribed it to me a year and a half ago because I think he has a piece of vitamin company, and,
Mhm.
and so I
It's got
take
a
a
steak in
daily
it.
500,000, 1,000, 2,000, whatever it is. It's an IUD or UIA, whatever the hell it is. I don't know what it is. It's a little pill.
IUD, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably an IUD. It's a white
IED,
pill.
IED from
It could be an IED or an
Afghanistan.
IUD. It's one or the other. It's in the hole or it's in the dirt. One or the other. Anyway, you
That's gonna be a good highlight.
we're going hell. We're going right into the dirt here. Anyway, uh, I think it works a little bit, but also it has something to do with what certain makeup of your blood is when you do your blood work, which I'm going to do my blood work in January and do my physical and all that kind of stuff like that. I do it every year. I'm pretty good at getting it every 12 months to get like a look at where I was. I think that's part of health. I think it's a good idea to monitor where your health is, not just, hey, I feel good, on Tuesday and and not like do it over time and look at hey, last week I couldn't walk but now I feel good, and I'm not gonna look at what was happening or what made me do that or how that happened or anything like that. I'm just gonna keep moving forward. And I think that there that annual monitoring, which is your physical, is just a great thing to do to give you a picture or a snapshot, a point in time, and then not just the one, because you do one, where you are currently. If you can look at them like five or six in a row, then you get a sense of like, am I becoming a fatter bastard or a skinnier bastard? Is my muscle mass changing? Has my breathing capability changed? Has my hearing changed? Has my blood concept, the what makes up my blood that makes me, whether like there's certain combinations of enzymes and bloods that they test that can tell you whether your liver's failing or it's starting to get in a bad zone, like you're drinking too much or whatever, or your kidneys. There's certain things about strong kidneys, like there's certain I don't know what the hell they are. They're enzymes that are in the blood that they measure to see that you have an acceptable level. And if you have a time, and I'm like cholesterol for me, I'm like the perfect cholesterol. I don't have any I don't have too much. I have very little bad cholesterol and I have a great amount of good cholesterol. So I'm sort of
Well,
like,
that's great.
happy go lucky. Yeah, but I got a ton of other shit, I got all sorts of weird stuff, and I'm more of like I'm short on fiber. So I have to take more fiber.
I feel like everybody above the age of 40 is short on fiber.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh I am sure that you can look at studies that say that we eat less fibrous foods as we get older,
Hmm.
and also our body probably metabolizes it differently. So as you get older, it doesn't metabolize it the same way. So
Hmm.
it's more, it doesn't retain it. So you don't have it and you can't use it for things that remove bad things from your body. Like fiber for me is something that I have, I'm putting my hand along my belly when I say this, assuming that you can see here,
Yeah.
I have ulcers and fiber removes like particles that can go hard in my colon that can cause me trouble.
Mm.
And they can become cancerous. They're all sorts of shit. They turn into polyps. They tear holes in your stomach. They do all sorts of weird shit.
Polyps are the
Anyway,
things you don't want. Those are the
right,
things that
exactly.
do
That's the
not
bad
want.
side. But knowing and measuring and monitoring is one way to do it. That's part of the process. So I think that healthcare isn't just like, okay, if we exercise and we're good that way, it's one thing. And then of course it's diet. You know, if you eat shit, you're gonna be shit. If you eat good, you might be a little better. And then quantity, and I mean diet has got to be the consuming. I mean, that's the ever present beast in the room is the fact that we're one of the fattest, or we're the fattest. Uh, what do you call it? Highly developed country in the world. We have
Highly
a
developed.
under,
I'm
there's
surprised that we're still able to highly developed
they keep
country.
narrowing us into that, but the thing is our intellectual levels drop to like 25th out of 20 out of 30. So we keep just
46% of people read below a sixth grade reading level. Things like
no,
that.
the average is sixth grade. The average American,
That's not below sixth grade.
no, the average American, you, I, all of us, we read at a sixth grade level, and you're like,
That's not good. That's not even enough to comprehend who you are as a person. I don't think
yeah,
that that's
and they get to vote,
viable. Yeah, which is the
you
scariest part.
know. Well,
But
see, I
for a
guess if
country
you're
that's failing them educationally, yeah.
right, right. Well, and I guess that's when you see that people want to change the education system, but they want to change it to something that makes them money. And I'm just sort of against that. That's what I'm always against when I hear these things like, "Oh, we're just going to take money out of there and put it in my pocket." And it's like, well, that's not going to make the broader people work.
No,
You
no, it
know,
will not work
I mean, well,
that way.
that's one thing they've been doing is robbing the public education system to grow the private education system, which basically means that rich people can put our kids into a private school at a lot less expense because we can get a tax deduction, whereas poor people don't have enough money to actually put them in a good school, so they kind of get screwed.
And that's where you end up with the raffles that accept like three people from a closing elementary school nearby the new charter school,
Right,
and so on and so forth. And I think
right.
it's interesting
And
that
then we hold it up that that's great and wonderful.
yeah, we're like, oh, we have all these charter schools now that we're forcing people on those socioeconomic spectrums to pay for, even though there's no local elementary or middle school around in their area anymore because they did not meet these certain scores to get funding to keep the school in
Yeah,
play, right? And I think that that's a
isn't that
little
cool?
egregious, a little egregious, but I mean that is
Yeah,
capitalism in the root of it, if you think about it.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of sad
Oh,
that we care that little about the next generation. I mean, and I think the thing that hits you is that this has been going on for a long time, where everyone's always, you hear the mantra, "Are you better off now than you were?" When they sell the political side, they say to yourself like, "Well, is the only measurement that I'm in life that, let's be selfish, that if I'm better off or not, that measures everything? What about the world? What about something, other than just me?" And I think that's been a selfish thing that I attribute back to Reagan, you know, that it's all about you. We're going to
trickle down
sell to
economics, is that what
you.
you're talking about? And how
Yeah,
the
yeah, the
idea
trickle down, all that kind of
that
stuff. Are
was the
you better
funniest
off?
thing
What can
ever.
you do? And it's just, but people buy different things, right?
Hmm.
Different lines.
No, they
And
certainly do.
we weren't coming on this to go into that side of ugliness, and it's deep and filled with large buckets of poop. So let's stay on the
It
healthy
seems like it's
side.
never going to end, does it? Never
It
going to
doesn't.
end.
It's
Injustice
an
never ends.
ever ugly thing. We're doing this the week after. This is 1 week after Election Day.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, that's
right. So
true.
when this plays, it'll play at a different time. It's 11:12 today.
Yeah, this
So
will
a week
play
ago we had the election, and
a week from now.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Mm.
but anyway, as far as
Health.
health goes, I think about the different things that I've done through the years. I was a I wasn't a gym membership guy until I started dating my wife. She was into Holiday Inn spas, big deal, holiday spas. And she had a membership there. And it was like, I don't know, it was like $9 a month or something like it's cheap as shit. You go there, there's 17 million people there. You get in line to get on the walker.
You get on the
And I mean,
line.
yeah, there was a line for everything.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, but also remember that this is a gym full of people your mother and I's age, which at that point, the majority of the population, and we're all 25. So some of us went to the gym to actually exercise. Most of us went there to buy sodas and hook up
You could buy
because,
food there.
yeah, they had all sorts of they had snacks, which, hey, eat this ultra sugar Hershey's bar.
I
It's
always
not
thought it
a
was
Hershey
funny that
bar. It's a Hershey's bar.
the Sport and Health had that cafe in there. Remember
Well, the
that?
cafe was like really, it's 100% organic. They had really good food there.
I was shocked. I was really, really surprised when I ate there as a kid. I think
Yeah.
I did fencing there or something.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, you did.
then they served I don't even remember what it was, smoothies. And then it
Yeah,
was
they had
also
smoothies.
something else. Well, even the
I
LA
had,
Fitness out here has that.
I had
LA smoothie
like
bar.
avocado toast. They had really, really good, some weird omelet egg thing, burrito eggs, whatever rolled in, that kind of thing. Egg wrap, bacon, egg, and cheese wrap, all that kind of stuff. Really, whoa, and for the money it was great.
You ever see yourself going
And
back there?
no,
No.
I've moved on from the gym thing because for me, what happens is I started out in a gym process, and through the years, I'd go at the beginning of the year for a month or two, and I'd be good for a while, and then I'd get involved in the rest of my life, and there'd be no time, or I wouldn't make the time. That was it. I just wouldn't do it. And so, and there was always something else to do during the day, and there's always you have to drive to it. And this happened through the years. And then when I got real flexible work schedules, I could just make my work day around when I wanted to work out. And then I got too lazy to do that. So then I hired a personal trainer. So I was like, okay, shit. I'm not only going to pay for a gym membership, I'm now going to have a personal trainer that trains me twice a week. So then I got to go twice a week. And then I was bagging him like one every day.
That was a common thing too, yeah. It,
Yeah.
the people at that Sport and Health particularly had personal trainers.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah. Well,
it was a high percentage, I
it
think.
was a higher in, it was people with more money than brains. I don't know. That's probably why I went there.
Is
But
Sport and
but
Health an East Coast thing? I think it's East
I
Coast,
think it
right?
is. I think it is up and down the East Coast. It's in this Northern Virginia areas where they sort of have 25 locations or something like that, and they've tried to grow to be massive, like your Planet Fitness, and everything. They just haven't taken off, and then they got hammered during COVID.
Yeah, because that's when we stopped going. We
Yeah,
canceled the
and that's
membership.
when I canceled my membership because I'd had the membership for a year and I hadn't been,
Jeez.
and we were paying 120 bucks a month.
I was going really consistently, if I remember, when I was at
I
Nova.
did.
Because I was at Nova and I would go there before and after class or something.
Right, and you got us into doing it,
I was going
and then
really consistently.
and then you know what you did?
I made
Your
COVID.
fault.
I
No,
made
your
COVID at
fault.
home in the garage.
Worse. You bought a what was that lifting rack?
Oh, the squat rack.
You bought the squat rack and put it up here in this room. This
Yeah.
is your bedroom. And you had a squat rack and and then you had guys lifting weights up here. And then I was like, here I am paying $150 a month to go to the sport and health, and I finally canceled it. And I'm seeing what you have there, and I'm like, "Would you get?" And, it was like $400, and you guys were lifting and doing all that. And I said, "Well, maybe I don't use the right side of the garage anyway. It's just shit." So I cleaned it and I started getting rid of things, and then we put it down there. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
And then slowly but surely, it's like, well, it's really hard to not physically do something if your gym is 22 feet away.
Even the
And
sport and health wasn't that far away though.
no, it
But
wasn't. It was
you would
really
have to get on
close.
495 though, which is just
Right. It was 5 miles.
yeah.
It's pretty close. But I go up Georgetown Pike onto 495, get
Yeah.
off, one stop over at I never knew about the 66. I would always get off at the 123 and go around that way. But I should have been getting off at 66 and coming in the right side and would have been easier. But could have, would have, should have, doesn't matter. Anyway, uh, it progressed. I mean, first there was the equipment that we bought downstairs. We didn't have anything on the floor. We had rubber things around it. And your mother and I had always had we had the bicycle down there, and we had which she wanted to get a bicycle, and I remember that we bought a bicycle. I think she used it 6 times. I think it's a
Oh, the
thousand bucks.
recumbent bike. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like $1,000 a time. Because I was like, why you want to get a recumbent? I mean, it's twice as expensive as the other. Really, really, really. Well, it's the best for this and that and the other. And
The other is in
you
the
know,
stand-up one. Is that what you were talking about?
right. And it always comes in springtime, January in particular, around Christmas. You're thinking, I'm a fat bastard. I got to do something about it. And so your way of doing something about it with actually not doing anything about it is to spend money and go look at things that would make you less fat.
This
And
is
you go
true.
and you buy those at the store, and then you probably use them a few times. Some people use them a lot of times. Other people use them consistently, and they develop healthy habits. Uh, one of the things that I did, and I think it's probably more because of you, is that you had a developed habit to exercise. And this is like the best thing that ever came out of your private school, the very best thing is, and it was predominantly a Jewish school. So uh, I'm gonna what do you call it when you
Stereotype.
stereotype that the group of children there were not athletic.
Oh no, not at all.
Okay,
Not
not to
even
be
slightly.
offensive, but they
Oh, I
were
mean,
they
it's
were
just the
missing
truth. I mean, it's just the truth.
they were not. So, but from seventh grade on, 5 days a week, you were required to play basketball, do soccer, do whatever the hell. I mean, you had like cross country. They had about 8 sports, and they played in an intramural league there. And it wasn't that you actually played games; it was more that you practiced. And when you practiced, you actually physically worked. And you went. I mean, what I would have imagined you would have been if you hadn't gone to that school is you would have been a fat, doughy me. You would have been me in 10th grade. I was like 190 pounds and yeah, I'm Bethlehem, you know, and until I started taking amphetamines and shit like that, which totally changed me, but that was probably not the best way to do it. You physically worked, and and by doing that, it developed a habit, and you did that for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. And now you have it ingrained in you that even every so often you're like, "Oh, I don't want to lift weights anymore." I'm like, "What's it going to do?" And it's like, I'm doing rock climbing. I'm doing rock, and you're climbing the wall, so you're physically doing something for at least an hour that it requires incredible strength, effort, whatever. And or you're running again, or you're hiking again and walking, and I walk 10 miles, that kind of stuff. And it's like that got me into a regular habit, and slowly but surely, I mean, one thing I like to do is design things and put them together. Like, remember your skate park?
Yeah,
I love that. Well, I started looking at the gym and I was like, what do we need? And I always thought those machines that were against the wall, the little V machines, were really cool with the pulleys and everything.
V
What do you call
machines,
those?
cable
You
machine.
know, cables. Yeah, the cable machine. But the floor to ceiling ones and all that kind of shit with the pull up bar and like, wow, that would be so cool. But those things are like $1 million. And then I went to the local, you know, I don't know what it is.
I know what you're talking about. It's it's funny because it's a sports equipment store that is right next
Right,
to a Baskin Robbins, which
right.
I think is so fun, and then
That's kind of
attached
common.
to a Domino's, which I
Right.
think is so funny. I
And
don't know.
then around the corner is the bar that you smoke at.
Yeah. Did you ever go to that Thai restaurant over there? It's like Zanzibar or something.
I
It's
went to the one that was called Pasha Thai or Pusha or whatever. There was one there that was really, really good.
yeah. Well, I think it's called
They're
like
hammering all that.
Zanzibar. We should go to Zanzibar's or whatever it's
Okay,
called.
when you come back, we'll go to Zanzibar.
There's
Write that
also
on your
a
list of to do things.
another restaurant there that's like an old barn. It's dressed up like an old barn.
It's still there.
I don't know.
They
That's a
have
good question.
they've wiped out. They're wiping out that whole block there, and they're putting
Wow.
up high rise.
Even the Silver Diner?
No,
Okay.
just across the street from the Silver Diner, where that bank is, and all that stuff.
The
And
Petco, is that what you're talking about?
No, no, you're thinking the wrong way. The other way. That warehouse area where it's at with the golfing and all that, that's still there.
Where we were
The
doing
one where the
COVID
empty parking
tests.
lot was, and that
Yeah.
whole square there is just getting, everything's empty and they're just bulldozing the shit. So something's coming,
That's been
you
empty
know.
for years.
Tyson 17, I don't know what it is.
I knew a guy that worked at the COVID testing
Yeah,
place right there in that parking lot. Shout out Ross, the president. The
yeah.
president Ross, yes. Yeah, he worked there as a swabber.
So the
What?
mop the floor?
No, no, swabber.
Swab the deck.
The nose swabs, you know,
Oh,
when
okay.
the guy
That's not the
or the
same.
lady
That would have been a hell of a job trying to swab a deck with a nose thing, right?
swabber. That'd take
Be
a
crazy.
while. That would take a
Yeah.
little bit longer than a
Anyway,
while.
back to this healthcare thing and me telling my story about my gym, and you interrupted me and taking us into a sideline
Uh,
about a shitty Thai restaurant. Shitty chicken.
Zanzibar's.
Anyway, anyway, I thought those things were like 4, 5, 6 grand. And I was like, that's crazy. I can't. This one was $1,500.
It's
It
not
was on
bad.
sale. Yeah, and it's got the pulleys, the cables, the uppy thing, the T-bar. I mean, just freaking everything. So that was sort of like the middle. I have the squat rack, and then I have a bench. And so then it was just, and we had some dumbbells, and I've added to the dumbbells, I've added to the bench. Uh, I had a running thing. What do you call that? Treadmill. And I got a rowing machine. I don't use it as much as I should. Uh, and I've used it a lot for like the first year, but now I've sort of backed off because I'm doing the other stuff, but I'm getting right back into it. And I feel kind of good. When I got up this morning at 4:30 and I was sitting there pissing around and I was like, why don't I just go outside and instead of staring at this stupid rectangular thing with the shiny lights going off and pissing me off every 5 minutes or making me happy by showing me little kittens, I will go out there and pull move metal around. So that's what I did. And by making my own gym, and most people don't have this option, but we have a 2-car garage and she's got 2 cars. I have no cars. So fuck that. I got half the garage and I made that into the gym. And then slowly but surely she is coming around to using it and used it more and more and then invite her friends over to come and use it. And then so it became a it's a central part of our life, I think, to some degree. You know, when we get sick, when we go away on long vacations and come back, it's a schedule breaker and it's hard for us. And I'm kind of that way. I'm like you, where you get bored and you just don't want to do it. But I love it.
When I was back
Uh,
though, I was super consistent.
yeah,
I think I worked out. I was back for what, like 50 25 days? I think I
yeah,
worked out like 20 of the 25, which was
really.
yeah, I
I
was really,
did.
really
The
consistent.
only thing I really did was what happened, I was doing really, really, really well. 3 years, I had bigger arms, stronger. less turkey neck, all that
Hmm.
shit. Lost a bunch of Dunlap, all the bad things,
You were
and
205, right? Yeah.
the rolly sides and that shit. And then she needed a new knee, so this way I get to blame it on her.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
you have to do that. It's the
yeah,
law.
well, and then we went to Chicago the first time, and then it was me taking care of sort of everything because she can't walk, so. And she's taking care of me for everything when I had a broken leg. So it's not like it's a one-sided thing. But anyway, I'm one of those people that when I get a schedule, as long as I'm doing kind of the same thing, I won't break it. But I broke it for almost 60 days. I couldn't do it. I was always like, get up, feed the dogs, do the dishes, do the laundry, help her get downstairs, get her ice for the machine, get set the machine up, empty the machine, empty the water, uh, put down the pillows, bring every single thing that she had upstairs had to come downstairs, go back upstairs, go into the kitchen, wherever she was stationed. Most of the time she was stationed on the couch in the front. And she would sleep there, and so that even made it like be quiet in the house and all this other kind of stuff like that. And that for me was that broke my routine. And then I was doing the
Chest
I don't
press.
know what. Yeah, I was doing a bench press. I think that might have been it, or it might have been I was doing the what do you call them, skull crushers
Oh
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
with
The
the 35
military press
pound.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a 35 from here where you drop it back to your head, and are you yeah. When you're laying flat on the ground and you have it here and you bring it down to here.
That's like a pullover. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the heck it is. It's and I have a shoulder impingement. Hurt my shoulder, and it was just monkey dicks because it really hurt. And I couldn't lift. I couldn't. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do circular. And now I'm just getting back to where I can, and I'm working it out slowly but surely. But it's been, my God, that was August. What is it now? It's freaking November. So
Yeah.
August, September,
It's been a
October
while.
was just piss in the wind, fat boy. And
Oh.
yeah, and the thing is that when you exercise, there's people I know like Bushka that if he doesn't, and he's like, well, you can weight lift, do all that kind of stuff, but he said if I don't actually physically move and do something during the day, I start to feel sick, like I did something wrong. My body just says, what the hell's wrong with you? And I mean, he eats like he eats all the time, and I'm just like, we got to eat, man. We ate breakfast. And I'm like, we ate breakfast like an hour ago. Yeah, yeah. We need like the mid-morning healthy snack. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, fat people can't do that, you know? But then he's, already ran 400 miles and lift 3 million pounds. And so he can. He burns the hell out of it. I think he's like a 25 or a 3,000 calorie a day consumer.
Wow.
Whereas if I
Well,
did that,
25 is average, right?
no, I think I'm down below 2 because I'm so fat and I don't move that much. And
But you
less
walk though. You walk a lot.
yeah, I'm my average, here we go. And it was good. I was averaging, and I thought for the year I was going to bust 11,600, right?
Hmm.
That's what I wanted to do. I had it in my mind. And today, and the day's not done, and that's when it looks kind of shitty. My monthly average is 10,015. That's per day.
That's a
My
crazy average.
yearly average is 10,600 steps a day, 10,633. In October, it was at 11. So it's been so weird. I was averaging 11,600 steps a day through June. And then if you look at my monthlies, it's so weird because it changed. It went from, I was rising up 11.5, 11.7, 12.1, 11.9, 11.7, 11.1, 9,700 a day, 8,800 a day, 7,100 a day in September, which was the bottom. That was the worst impingement shoulder and all this other shit that was going on. And then October, 11.6. So I'm back. So I got to get back to I got to bust 11,000 a day every day to and it's weird. it adds to my overall positive outlook. If I don't do that, if I don't have to me, it's when I think about being retired, that a good portion of my happiness is being healthy. And I see people that aren't healthy, and I look at how miserable they are, and I look at how they can't move and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, you know, if I'm old, if the wifey dies, and I'm here and I got to have somebody, get off the shitter or whatever, I'm going to be like, time for sledgehammer, buddy. It's done. We're checking out. I am not gonna. I don't see that. I don't understand how someone would want to be alive if
If
they
they
could,
can't walk, I don't understand that.
if they couldn't move relatively easily, unless they could figure out a workaround and do things to change it. Because for me, it would be like I would, if I became like if I got hit by a car and became crippled from the legs down, I would figure out how to work things around. I'd
Mhm.
probably have to,
That's
I'd have my
different.
own
Yeah.
little van. I would do shit like that. I would modify the house, or I'd move to a house that was a one level house that had all roly poly shit and everything like that. And and then I would figure out to be mobile that way. But uh, if I wasn't that way, but I was still like, walking on canes and stuff like that, and couldn't get out of a chair, because I see that all the time where people can't get out of chairs.
A lot of it is stretching too early on
You know,
and doing
yeah,
the required movement to not get to a place like that.
right. Food. I
That as
mean,
well.
when you're looking at,
Excessive drinking too. That'll.
no, drinking's good for you. I don't know where you've gotten this
You know what's
information from.
crazy? What I learned the other
But
day. Paul Newman, 24 beers a day. 24 beers a day. Have you seen photos of Paul Newman even into his old
what an
age?
amazing looking guy.
He was shredded. He was absolutely shredded. What the hell is that about? Why?
Well, then it makes you it kind of begs the question, is like, how do you know he did 24 beers a day?
Oh,
Is that
because it was
true?
some cited thing on the internet. I don't know. It's probably made up.
Oh, so it must be true, man.
But Bogart was also just the most
Oh, he was, well,
egregious gin drinker, from what I
yeah, he
understand.
was,
Yeah.
he was, he said that alcoholism gave his face character.
A lot of people said that.
And
Because
that's why
as
he
you looked
never,
from Casablanca, right? That's one character. But then you go towards one of the last movies that he did, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, which was when he was a avid drunk, and the edges in his face look like who was it?
people,
W.H. Auden almost, the
yeah,
unknown citizen. He wrote that. And Auden had like these giant crevasses in his face that were just
were they
dumbfounding him.
crevices or crevasses?
Crevasses, because that sounds
Yeah.
more astute and intelligent.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, if you look at a
That's
photo
what
of
happens
him,
when you go to that really cool educational institution.
I'm just really smart. I went to a really good school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nova, Nova, Nova.
I think I'm gonna go back to my UVA reunion, and I'm gonna wear Nova Nighthawks gear. I think that would be so funny.
Well, I think it's kind of weird when you think about like trajectories, is that your mother went to the Annandale campus of Nova.
I did as
I
well.
went I went to the Woodbridge campus, and you went to the Annandale campus. We all got her and I got 2-year degrees. You failed at that.
I'm one credit shy still. Yeah, I think we
I
talked
know.
about this in a past episode recently.
Yeah, I'm always like, the only reason I would say to do it is because I'm a person that couldn't leave something undone like that.
Next time I go back, I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Or just
Well,
ask them and say, what do you have to do to make it happen? And they'll tell you.
mhm, exactly.
Because you can probably just say, well, have our transcripts from UVA sent over and they're done. Because that's what they told me to do.
Hmm.
Because I think I was missing, I had 700 credits, and my God, I had everything from correctional counseling to physiology, study of anatomy. And I mean,
You
I
ever think
just,
about going back and taking a class
uh,
like painting or something?
well, I did the painting thing with the Muse Bar, but that's not really a
But
class.
that's more of like a
Your
sip
mother
and
wanted to do
paint.
that and said we should take one here, and I said yes, sign me up. Uh, but that is basically, I would just do it because she was pushing me to do it. But yeah, I've always wanted to explore an artistic side. when I was younger, I was actually pretty good at pottery on the wheel. I know how to hold my hands, my elbows on my knees at the right distance to take your thumbs and move them inside of a
I
pot
was
and make a
always
pot running.
so bad at that. I was
Yeah. Well,
so
it's a matter of
incredibly
you
terrible at
you
that.
learn something, and I was taught this, and Mrs. Blackwell, I think it was. Oh man, she was hot. Like 28 at the time. I think I was just like I was at the peak of my not know what to do with my sexuality time, and sophomore in high school, and everybody just
Was
talked
this
about her all the
before
time.
or after you thought you were gay?
Long before. I never thought I was gay, but anyway, the she taught me how to hold my elbows on my knees to keep my hands steady.
Mhm.
Said most people can't just do this. What they do is you find a good, comfortable resting place, and then you use your hands like this.
Like
And
drawer
I'm like,
sliders.
that's fucking so logical. And I would see people doing this, and I'd be like, because if you move a little bit in a pot, you knock it down every time.
You're
Weird.
reminding me when I took ceramics in middle school.
Yeah.
We when somebody was on the wheel, when somebody was on
Tickle
the
them.
wheel, what we would do is we would go to the other side of the room, big classroom, get a
Yeah.
ball of clay, throw it across the classroom at the wheel, and just destroy whatever somebody was making. Oh my God, that was a great time. And I
Oh
remember this
man.
one kid made the most beautiful face.
Oh God.
And he got so pissed off. It was great.
We
Oh.
did everything we could to make bongs. That's what we did. We made clay bongs, just clay pipes, everything. And she would be like, "Nope, we're not firing that. Nope, we're not firing that." No, what do you mean? One guy made a ski boot. It was so cool. It was a ski boot. It had all the bindings and everything on it,
Oh wow.
and it had a little thing at the front that was like where the toes, the toe binding was like up higher, and it had a tube that ran through the top of the toe binding where you could set a bowl.
Oh.
And you would fill up the base with water, and you put the bowl there, and then it was a bong. And she caught it,
Oh. You
and
ever
I was
wish
like,
you
"Man,
could
he must smoke weed."
you ever wish you could smoke weed now and not get
Yeah, I do. I don't. I just don't. It doesn't. I mean, there's something that may be healthy. I don't know. I don't think it is healthy though.
I don't
I
know.
think that.
Allegedly they say there's more carcinogens in marijuana, but the cigarette companies probably just say that, to be
Mhm.
honest. So I don't really believe
Well,
anything
what
they
type of
say.
carcinogens? I mean, there's more carcinogens in weed smoke than there is in air. Okay,
Hmm.
we know that.
Fair point.
And anytime you're smoking something and putting in your lungs, I don't care what it is, it's bad for you, one
Oh
way or
yeah.
the other. Your cilia is filtering it, so whatever shit is made of and put into it, and and there's the argument about weed being not uh you don't know what the hell's on it.
Hmm.
It's not FDA approved or anything, but nowadays, man, half the food you get in the stores aren't it. What's in this? Well, they don't have to tell you. They paid the FDA off. So
Yeah, that has been happening
all
a
the
lot.
all the vitamins and stuff, they don't have any like they don't have to tell you, hey, let's crush up some egg parts and call it the new E.
I remember years ago, one of the three big beef distributors, isn't that crazy that it's just three, got caught for using beef glue to glue steaks together to make it look like it was an
Clear
actual
steak.
steak. Yeah, it was crazy. And then they caught him,
Doesn't
yeah.
doesn't shock me. Well, Burger King was the one that got was caught, but it was mid caught after for multiple years they were importing kangaroo from Australia.
That almost seems more expensive. Why?
I would have thought so too, but whacking kangaroos, which are free, and chopping them up and grinding them up into hamburger meat and then bringing them here was cheaper than actually growing a cow here and killing it and
How is that
slaughtering it.
cheaper? That
I
makes
don't
no
know.
sense.
I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. Maybe they were only using them locally down there, and that was the reason. or maybe they were
I
only
think that might
importing them
have
to,
been it. That would make
maybe
sense
they were just importing them to India or whatever. Who knows? But
for
they've been
just
doing it for
BK.
years. They got
Yeah.
caught, and people are like, you know, they're the kangaroos are bugs anyway. We
Yeah,
think they're
they
cool,
hate the
but
kangaroos down there. I don't know
yeah,
why. Why do they hate the
yeah.
kangaroos so much?
Well, they'll kill your dog. They're not sociable.
Oh, they're not
They're like
kind.
they're like the they're like a lot of people we know.
You ever see
They live outdoors, they're really stupid, and they're mean.
you ever see the movie Kangaroo Jack, where in 2006 there was a man. Let me get the cast up here for that. I'm actually
Yeah.
curious. Maybe it'll jog your memory. Hold on. Give me a second here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Kangaroo Jack.
Kangaroo Jack.
Great movie. Who
So
is
what does this have to
9% on Rotten Tomatoes?
is that bad or
Jerry
good?
O'Connell, Anthony Anderson, Christopher Walken was the evil kangaroo killer in it. But
Yeah.
Kangaroo Jack was just a boxer man they put a sweater on him and sunglasses. It was
Oh, I see that. I see him.
you remember this movie?
I
Great
see him.
movie.
Yes.
I never
I don't
saw
know.
Jerry O'Connell. Michael Shannon was in Kangaroo Jack. Think about that, everybody. Think about that,
I don't know who
listeners.
Michael Shannon is. Who's the
Michael Shannon was in Boardwalk Empire, and he was
Anthony Anderson was Lewis Booker, Jerry O'Connor, Christopher Walken, Michael Shannon, Estella Warren, did, Diane Cannon was in it. A lot of old people they were lost.
Martin
Denise
Kosak's.
Roberts, Laura Cox, Tony Nikolopoulos. Yeah, right. Okay.
I haven't heard of Michael or Martin Kosak's
So
in
speaking of
frickin'
exercise
years.
and health,
Hmm.
uh, kangaroos are pretty healthy because they jump all the time and they live outside
Yeah,
and they don't eat beef
they wear shirts too. They wear
from
Hawaiians.
McDonald's and they have sunglasses for the sun because Australia is really
How's
really
a
sunny.
kangaroo gonna kill your dog? That's my question. You gonna step on it?
I saw one. I saw a guy where the kangaroo had bit the dog
They bite?
and
I didn't
wasn't going
know
to
they
let him
bite.
go. Yeah, yeah, it was weird. Oh no,
Wow.
or was kicking it, or
That's what I was
and the
thinking.
owner and I saw the meme, and the owner runs over to it and just punches him right in the face.
Oh, I did see that, yeah.
He roundhouses the kangaroo, and the kangaroo's like, "You want to go?" Kangaroo jumps up and puts his paws up, and a kangaroo will literally kick your brains out with its feet.
Because it's like a horse
Okay,
kick, yeah.
yeah, yeah, but he punches it like two more times, and it's like nobody does this. And he grabs his dog and he moves away, and the kangaroo's like, "Oh, okay, whatever."
My favorite kangaroo video was when this guy dressed up as a kangaroo. And then there was a baby kangaroo that looks at it and then it hops over and it jumps in the front pouch of the kangaroo costume.
Oh my
Like
God.
totally willingly. Didn't even know it, not forceful or ever. My
Wow.
second favorite kangaroo video was this guy, this homeless Australian dude. He's like, this
Yeah.
is how to catch a kangaroo. And he has like a little plastic bag and he walks up. It's like you get your bag, you put it in front of the kangaroo, and then he scoops the baby Joey into the bag. And then he's like, and that's how you catch a kangaroo. We'll link that in the video or the
Oh my
description.
God.
Great video. How to catch a
This is how you
kangaroo.
catch a kangaroo. Yeah.
This is
Hey,
how you catch a kangaroo.
you got to know that. Well, you
Kangaroo.
did the Australian accent. We were doing the
Yeah, that play at UVA.
yeah.
I did all in all Australian dialect. Yeah, that was
Yep.
a fun time
I can't do
with
that.
Brian. Well, we had an accent coach too that helped a lot, and we only
Yeah.
met her like 4 times. And
Yeah.
I listened to a couple Australian podcasts, and it came really naturally for me as well. I
Mhm.
don't know
Because
why
you're
it
from
did.
Australia.
I think so. Maybe in a
Yeah,
past life.
probably.
There's a photo, funny enough, of Crocodile Dundee when he's 42 years old and he's building the Melbourne,
Melbourne.
and he's on top of the bridge and he's painting it, and he's 42, and that's 5 years before he would have world fame. Crazy,
Really?
crazy photo. Yeah.
So that kind of shows you about the whole acting and producing and everything. It's like you go through
Hmm.
you do something crazy and you're amazing.
You never
And
know. You never know when it's right around the corner.
but then you could be the star of the movie, the what is that, Kangaroo Jack, and then Never get another part.
Well, Michael Shannon was in that. Michael Shannon's gigantic now.
Let's see. Let's see.
Michael Shannon. Did you ever watch Boardwalk Empire?
Yeah.
Remember the crazy cop in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh,
Yeah. He was
wow.
really, really good in that. He was my favorite character in that TV
Yeah.
series. And then
Crazy.
Michael Shannon was also
Well, did
in
he
The Bike
exercise?
Riders recently. What?
Did he exercise? Was he
He
healthy?
seems like not in that. He was very mentally unwell. He was a big Christian guy in that, and it was evangelical.
Uh,
You're starting to jog your remember, right?
yeah, I am thinking
And
of,
then he
hold
drowns his
on.
partner in the creek or whatever.
I am thinking of, and it's the woman came and saw him, his wife, in
Yes.
Boardwalk Empire.
And then he had
And
like
he
a
also
prostitute
did,
girlfriend or something.
I want to say Water for Chocolate, but it's not.
Water for
It's the
Elephants.
one, is that what it was?
Water for Elephants with Reese Witherspoon.
No,
Hold on.
it was Water something.
Water
It
for
was
Elephants.
amazing movie. Uh,
Mm,
could have been.
let me see. Water for Elephants cast.
No, it wasn't Water for Elephants. It was Water something. Uh,
Christoph Waltz was in Water for Elephants. Wow.
no, it was.
If anybody's seen Water for
Remember the mountain?
Elephants,
Remember the monster? There was a monster,
the monster.
and
Oh, The Shape of Water?
yeah.
Good movie. Good
Oh, I
movie.
love that. That was just wow. And then she goes at the end.
And then
That just
she jumps in the water.
yeah. That you were like, whoa.
Guillermo del Toro, freaking mastermind. But have you ever really understood that? Like, I don't remember anything except the beginning and the end of a Guillermo del Toro movie. Like, if you asked me something that happened,
I remember his line, one of my favorite lines. You either wash your hands before you pee or after. You do not do both.
that
And I
was
was just
funny.
like, oh my God, I got to start saying that. Yeah, I'm going to wash my hands and then I'm going to go in and go potty and then I'm just going to come out and eat.
I
Because
was
you
a young
either,
kid, you used to tell me that all the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I saw it first.
Mhm.
Is that how long ago is that? That's not that long ago, is it?
The
When
Shape
was
of
that movie?
Water, I want to say 2015.
You think?
I'm going to say 2015, 2016.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2017. Oh, Art
Wow.
The Shape of Water is a 2017 romantic fantasy.
Great
But
freaking
that
movie.
was,
That blew my mind, dude.
yeah,
The woman
that
in
was
that was
great.
so good too. I don't know if
Yeah.
she ever went on to do anything else.
Shy and wonderful and all that kind of stuff like
Mm.
that. I don't know what
I
happened
think
to her.
Adorable was
Uh,
there's something about the Guillermo del Toro color palette too. There's always just so
Sally
freaking
Hawkins. Let's see. Royal Academy, Romeo and Juliet, Much Ado About Nothing. She did a whole lot of play shit.
Mhm.
Two Woody Allen's film, Cassandra's Dream, Blue Jasmine. She played lead roles in Maiden, Dagenheim, Paddington,
Oh, I love
Maudie,
Paddington, man.
Paddington 2, Godzilla,
Mhm.
Godzilla King of the Monsters in 2019, Wonka in 2023. Uh, for starring as Alyssa Esposito, a mute cleaning woman in the fantasy film The Shape of Water, she earned critical acclaim, was nominated for Academy Award for Best Actress.
Oh, I watched Wonka that she was in that with Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah,
That was a good
I don't
one. I like
remember.
that. I like that a lot. Even though I'm not partial to
You're not a Wonka guy?
musicals.
So that's a third one that they did? That's
What?
just stupid. Wonka? I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
I need to rewatch the Gene Wilder thing. I just watched Netflix. The Remembering Gene Wilder is kind of like a documentary.
Yeah,
And I didn't realize that the majority of what he did after Willy Wonka, which was a box office failure,
yeah.
was just comedy movies with Richard Pryor. I didn't
He
realize.
was great. He was really funny.
Yeah. And Pryor
You
was
know,
developing MS too towards a lot of the movies that they were
he
doing.
also did Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
You know, you
He
start
was a
looking at this.
replacement last second because there was a guy that was supposed to be him instead, but was such a destitute alcoholic that when he's hanging upside down
Yeah,
in the beginning, the guy,
yeah.
the actor before, I can't remember what his name was, but just threw up all over himself because he was so fucking drunk.
Wow.
Yeah. which actually is kind of fitting for the character because if you
But isn't
remember,
it weird that a lot because he was drunk? That's right.
yeah, the character was a drunk. Yeah,
He was actually playing his role true to form, you know.
I
You're
always
like,
loved the
whoa.
what is the most memorable thing in Blazing Saddles for me? It's the when Gene Wilder's like, oh, I can't do quick draw anymore or something. And he's like, why? And he's like, oh, because of the DTs. And his hands just
No,
shake.
no, he goes, I can't do quick draw anymore because of the and the guy goes, well, what do you mean? Your hand seems pretty steady. It's yeah, but I use this. This is my shooting hand.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what it
That's
was.
what he
That's
does.
what
He
it
holds up
was.
his other hand, shooting. Yeah.
That's what it was. Okay, that I love.
But he does some really tricky stuff. Cleavon Little, when they keep saying the sheriff is a
Oh
N-word
yeah, yeah.
and they're doing the ringing the bell and then she's screaming and yelling, you know, everything they did in that movie was wrong, and they had I thought one of the funnier parts is when they dressed up as Klansmen to go be part of the people that are going to raid Red Rock. And you got all these people, you got murderers, and you got the bad Mexican, you're bad, and you have the Nazi guys coming in. Everybody, it was just they were part of the crowd that was going to go mess up Red Rock, and then they made a fake Red Rock, and they got confused that they didn't know it was the real one. I mean, it was just like a lot of really stupid stuff.
Well, what it was too is a critique on American cowboy culture, which was invented by
Yeah,
the Winchester repeater. Because in reality, there was never really a cowboy culture in America. It was
yeah,
an
they just made it up.
invention to sell the Winchester repeater after the Civil War. Because after the
Ah,
Civil War, nobody was buying rifles. And
hmm.
therefore, they're like, how are we going to sell this? Therefore, we're going to have little girls and little boys want to adopt this idea of being a cowgirl, a pink gun for your daughter, or a Winchester repeater for your son, right? And therefore, it goes on and it's propagated as gun culture in the US. And that is why we have such a prolific gun culture, is because of the Winchester repeater in the
We've been
US.
sold that.
Exactly.
That's weird. I
Because
didn't realize
everybody
that.
always claims, oh, I'm so afraid of the government entrancing on my rights or what have you. And I'm like, wouldn't it be funny if you realized the real reason you believe that is because of propaganda that was created in the early what was it, 1900s? Yeah.
By the
Pretty
people
crazy.
trying to sell you shit. And
Exactly.
they're doing the same thing all over again. I mean, you just see it happening. What is it? It's back to the same old thing that if you say a lie enough, it becomes the people believe it,
Hmm.
and you can't change their minds. So you just go like,
What is
well,
religion? Is that was that the answer to that question?
well, that's one of many things.
Hmm.
But back to health.
Yes.
I feel I'm going to be 65 in the coming days. Uh, I feel like I'm 210, 212. I'm a little chubby. I blame that on Sicily and continuing to eat shitty food after I came back and not doing anything about it. I'm slowly getting back to eating less quantities because I was going into the whole binge thing. Because I think it's when you're bored that
100%.
you just like, I don't have anything to do. Well, I'll just go to the kitchen
Well, the thing,
instead of walking
yeah.
outside and walking in the backyard and smoking some crack like smart people.
Honestly, yeah, we should really start adopting that more as a culture. What was I gonna say? Well, you're also, if you want to walk anywhere,
Yeah,
you gotta drive.
I
You
got to
gotta drive
drive.
anywhere. Me, I can walk out this door right now, and
Yeah,
I can go walk down the street and fight a homeless man. I don't know.
I can, but it's just not. It's not easy. It's harder to walk on our streets since there's no sidewalks, and I can walk to the park. The park's probably 3 football fields away. You think?
Yeah, but then you gotta cross the what is Georgetown Pike, which
Jump
is
hike,
just
yeah. And then you got to
freaking
climb through the
nightmare.
bush. You got to climb through the bushes to get there. And so it's
Yeah.
it's relatively arduous just to get to where you want to hike it. And for me, it's better to throw the dogs in the front seat of the car, drive up to the pool because it's further away, but it's a more open and easy area. I let the dogs loose. We do our hike. We do anywhere from a mile. I have the shortest hike's a mile. The longest is about 3 there. And then tomorrow I have a hike already. I started doing this. This is one other thing I do in for my emotional and mental health is I've reached out to people that mean something to me over time. Tomorrow's like Jose. I said we can't keep saying we'll get together someday. So I'm forcing people to tell me when, and I'm making a date on my calendar. And I started doing this, and it's working. Like
Well, that's fantastic.
I started reaching out to people and saying, when do you want? Well, I'm busy next week, and I'm like, okay, what about August next year? And just putting it out 2 to 3 months for people that I don't really want to see them every freaking day anyway, and they don't want to see me every day, but about every 4 months for people that live a little distance away, it's kind of nice. For people that are close to me, I see them. Jose, I see probably every 2 weeks. Kuipers, I see at least once a week. Bob, when he's not away, probably every couple weeks. He's probably 3 weeks. Who the hell else? Bushka, I see weekly, but I see him via video because he's in Spain. And I'm trying to think who I
Something
know.
mentally healthy about that, knowing people that care about you, that are exist in
Brian,
the world.
Brian, I started seeing uh Catch as Catch Can. I pick
What is that?
I just
Ketchup
it's
casket can?
Catch as Catch Can, which
What
is
is
sort of it's what something we used to say is like we see each other when we can,
I like
which is
that.
sort of a pussy way to beat around and not really do, to be
Yeah.
honest. I just started doing the hike on Mondays with what's his name, Harrison.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
That's
you know.
great.
I mean,
Striking
we're
up new friendships in old
acquaintances,
age.
know each other, but I don't not anything crazy. So, and I'm really going out of my way to like push the socialization aspect of my life. Hey, you want to meet? Oh, okay. When? Oh, and then Conrad. I see Conrad. I've been on 2 vacations with him, and I make a point. I fly to Rochester and go up there. Your mother and I went up there. It was wonderful.
Oh,
We went
well,
up.
that reminds me.
That was an absolute wonderful thing.
Christmas, I came up with an idea. We could
Hmm.
take the coastal train all the way from LA to the Pacific Northwest. And that
Hmm.
might be a cool thing to do. That might be a cool thing.
Really?
And then go to Vancouver or something like that. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
So, yeah, cool. Book tickets tomorrow, and we'll be done.
All right. Well, she's not coming out here Thanksgiving because she hates me. Because she said, I hate you. I'm gonna go see
Yeah.
my other son. And I said, okay.
Oh,
I
she didn't
said,
say that out loud. She was telling me she hated you. So she said it out
okay.
loud to you. She fucked up.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty good at speculating. I went to a really good school. I'm really
yeah,
smart. But
yeah.
yeah,
Nova, Nova.
Nova, where the N stands for knowledge. But
Yes, we know that. Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be a cool trip to do because
Hmm.
I've just been seeing everything about the trains, the coastal train that it just overlooks the water.
Yeah.
You just will look at the water the
I think
whole
it'd be fun.
ride up. Yeah.
We did that in Alaska, and not that one. We did further northern up, and there's a lot of beauty to see.
How
You know,
long is that? That's got to be a long time.
Probably about 72 vodka tonics.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No
So
halves in there, only full ones.
yeah, I would do
Gotcha.
full ones. And
Full ones.
you want to look at like sleeper cars and stuff like that. We did
Tonic
short ones.
water messes
I
with
mean,
my stomach.
what you could do is you could book it and
Hmm.
uh, and go between cities,
Hmm.
and then take train from center of city to center of city,
Gotcha.
and then stay at a hotel at the city, like a Four Seasons, and then after the Four Seasons the next day, then you hop on the train and then take it to the next city. And then
Mm.
that would be kind of cool because I don't know about you, but sleeping on a train doesn't seem like, I don't care how nice you got it. It's a rolling boat, man.
I don't know why I
Rocka,
would
rocka,
love.
rocka,
For
rocka,
me,
rocka.
I really would love to sleep on a train.
I've never done that.
I don't know what it is.
Let's get a sleeper car
Hmm.
and go do it. We could do the James Bond thing where
Bring your
somebody hides up
passport.
top.
So we'll do Vancouver. Is what you're thinking too?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what
We'll
I
go
would
all
do.
the
I'd
way
go to
up.
Vancouver all the way up. It's
That'd
supposed
be
to be
really, really
beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll never forget when I
But check
drove.
and see if it's not like 19 frickin' days because it's slow as shit. That's
Yeah,
the
right.
thing. That's always the thing that pisses me off about the trains. It's like, wow, I go to China, I can go from essentially Chicago to DC in 3 hours. But here it's 19 hours.
That's
And
so
you're like,
funny. Well, the
really?
Chicago to DC thing as well. It's funny that you mentioned that in 3 hours because they're
Yeah.
building one in LA that's going to go
Mhm.
to where is it? Las Vegas. And
Yeah.
it's guess how much the train ticket's going to cost?
$6,000.
$350. It's like why I would just drive at that point. It makes no sense.
What's the plane ticket cost?
The plane ticket's cheaper than that, which makes no sense.
See, that's the same thing with Amtrak going to New York. They did the Amtrak and they got the high speed Amtrak, and it's like it's about it's weird. If you figure out that you fly and then you spend for the ticket, and now the problem with flying anymore is that you have to show up early, so it ends up costing a whole lot of time. So the train itself is actually faster, but now it's more expensive. And the train was, when I was going was 400 or 500 bucks round trip for a
that's still
Acela.
expensive.
I do first class, but I upgraded to first class, so I always had coupons. But
Mhm.
it was like, and it was crazy the people I saw. That was neat, you know. But back to healthcare, I would tell you that my walking days when I took Amtrak is I would go to the trains. I take an Uber to the train station. I walk through the train station, get on the train. I was up and down in the train during the course of the ride, which is 2 hours and 45 minutes. I hit Manhattan. I'm at 30th Street Station. My hotel was on 44th and on the Upper West Side. I was on Madison. I was on 8th Avenue. I had to walk to like Fifth Avenue. So 6 long blocks that way. What is 30 to 48 is 18 blocks that way with luggage and a briefcase. And I would tell you that easy, doable walk, fine. No huge hills in New York, or maybe there are, but I didn't notice it unless you go to Central Park. But it was like a really kind of, as long as it wasn't pouring rain, you didn't do the metro. I just walk, and it was just like, it's great. I
Yeah.
love that. And I got so much better. I got more steps that way. I knew when I was going to New York, I was going to get at least 10,000, 12,000. And then you go into then you check in the hotel, go into the office. The office is 4 blocks away or 2 blocks away or whatever the hell it was. Then you go out to lunch. Then you go to dinner, and then you go back to your hotel, and you're like, phew, and do it all over again the next day.
There was a time I got lost in New York and I was
Hmm.
quite inebriated. And we ended up walking like 24,000 steps or something. It was crazy. Because I was like, is that it? Because I was trying to do it based on landmarks.
Oh
And
my
you
God.
can't do that. You can't really.
Well,
And my phone didn't work either because the maps, like certainly like it'll cut off the signal. So I was like, oh gosh. Um,
we did that. And with Jem, and we went to Harlem, 125th. And we eat, and then we start walking back on over walk over to 8th. And the hotel was on like 40th, so it's 60 blocks away. And I think we I think we took a metro to Thomas Circle, so we walked over like 4 long avenues, and then we get to the blocks, and we have like 60 blocks to go, and I'm just exhausted because 9 o'clock at night, and Jeff and Jem were like, we're gonna walk away. And I'm like, I'll taxi. No, I don't like if when I'm tired, I don't want to do that. I get that because that's my overage for exercising. But
I didn't realize Jeff was there with you guys.
yeah, we went up to New York to visit Jem. I think Jem was there, or
When was this?
oh God, it was last fall. Last fall,
Really?
yeah.
I don't
Yeah, it
remember
was one of
this.
those bounce trips, and it was just like because we do that stuff periodically. It's like, hey, what are you doing? Well, this weekend I'm empty. Oh, cool. What do you want to do? Let's go to Bermuda. Okay, and then we go.
I love people that can commit to stuff like that. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what
Oh yeah, no,
I'm a
it's
fan of
great.
that.
It's great to have traveling people that are that way that can just throw it up in the air and say, "Let's do it." I
Hmm.
really, really, we did it with the. I think we did a pretty record time with the Shaws. You and I and your mother did record time Sicily. We did. I mean, we've had so many of those things.
Hmm.
Those are when I think about health, they help my perspective on life, seeing other things, lives, people, how they live. I mean, making pasta and seeing those houses and those people and where they lived and how they lived. And I was thinking, like, wow, this is that couple. That was like the apartment that I lived in when I first got out of college, with my
Hmm.
drunken roommate. And then that house that the mother was in and that place there, that was kind of like your mother's first condo.
Oh well.
So I was thinking like, oh wow, this is like, when you think about size and space, that had a much better kitchen. But and it's sort of
Their
like, oh,
ceilings were like 25 feet high too.
yeah, yeah, the ceilings
Those
there
were
are crazy.
crazy.
With all those buildings were built in what, the 1200s or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no,
it's
I
all
don't think
older architecture. It's beautiful.
I've never seen ceilings that high before. Those were
No,
really,
this
really
room
high.
here has high ceilings.
You
I
know what I
like
think about
that.
that? I think about dusting that. How do you even dust something? You gotta get a ladder. You
I
gotta get
don't
a
know.
ladder.
Here, how do
No,
we
they
dust?
were way taller than
How do
those.
we dust that?
Those were the ones that we went to where the
Yeah.
couple lived down, those were like 45-foot ceilings.
Oh yeah, they were really
Oh
high.
my God, maybe 60. I don't know. Those were really
Well,
high.
I wouldn't dust anything. I would just leave it.
It was just like a warehouse straight up, It was crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But it might have been just that. It
See,
might have been an
that's when
old
the
warehouse
spider people
converted.
move in and you can't see them in the dark. And the spider
I don't
people
like
live up
that.
there and you don't know about them until it's too late. And the
But
spider
I don't
people get
fly
you.
up there. I don't fly. I don't have my little wings that I fly up there.
That's
I
true.
don't worry
So
about that.
I don't know. The spider people are an egregious sort, a
Yeah. I
temperamental
met one of them the
sort.
other day. I
Spider
met one.
people?
He was like this big.
Oh
I
wow.
mean, that's the size he was presenting as. He was really only about like this
What
size,
was his
but
name?
he presented this way.
What was his name?
I am Spider-Man.
Did you check his ID?
No, I ran like shit.
Are you afraid of spiders?
Spider.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
no, I
are.
hate spiders.
You
I
are afraid
freak
of spiders.
out on spiders. I mean, that's the reason. Remember when we were in Galapagos
Spider Town.
and we went and the guy was taking us on a hike.
Oh, you had the tarantula on your arm.
Yeah, and he's like, "Do you guys want tarantulas?" And I'm like, "I am scared to death of spiders, but I'm going to try this." And he put
Hmm.
it on my arm and it crawled around on me and I didn't have a problem with it.
It was all furry.
It's like a baby cat.
Baby cat. All
Tarantula.
right. Well,
Tarantula.
what are we at now? An hour six. I think that's an hour six right there.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
anyway, healthcare. Uh, think about your emotional healthcare because I think that if you are happy, you have this symbiotic relationship, I believe, with the physical side and also the mental side. So if one of them gets out of whack, it kind of screws with the other one. Provided if you can do some type of daily form of movement, exercise, along with something that is mind care. I think that mind care is really, really important. And each one sort of pushes the other one. If I exercise a little bit, then all of a sudden I have a brighter outlook on life. And then I want to do things that make me even have a more brighter, like help people. And then when I help people, all of a sudden, wow, I feel good about myself. Hey, I'm a fat bastard. I'm going to work out more. And then when I work out more, I feel better. And I'm like, I think I'm going to help people. And then it's like, and that to me is, do we call that circle of life or the seesaw of life or whatever the fuck it is? It's that, what did the guy say? Quit putting your hands in front of your face.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was me. Yeah, yeah. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
Makes it hard for the editor. Um.
Yeah.
Oh, are we wrapping up? What are we doing?
Yeah. That's,
All
that's,
right.
that, that's a wrap, sir.
Thank you for listening, everybody. Go check out the Spotify. Go check out our website. Go check out our YouTube. Go check out our Instagram. All at A Record of My Father podcast on those handles. Thank you guys so much, and be easy and be breezy. Bye bye.